A teenage slacker's right hand becomes possessed with murderous intent.
This is Ryan.
And this is Ashley.
And this is
Ruining Our Childhood,
a nostalgic weekly podcast where a married couple rewatches and reviews our favorite 90s and 2000s movies to decide if they hold up to our adult standards.
Hi guys, it's Ashley and Ryan for another amazing episode of Ruining Our Childhood. I know we didn't announce the movie that we were planning to do on this episode last week because we weren't sure what we were going to do.
We weren't.
But we settled on 1999's Idle Hands.
I like how you left out classic.
Well, no, I didn't mean to do that
Okay.
on purpose. I just wanted to say the movie title in there. So, the 1999 classic Idle Hands. And I'm excited about this one because I don't know if I've seen it since like 2000.
I think I've seen it. I might have seen it one other time
Yeah.
since then. Yeah.
I don't know why I feel like we watched it together, but I also don't really remember.
It's possible.
I definitely know I've seen this movie more than once.
Okay.
But who knows when, where. My memory's getting foggy.
We're getting old.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
You know, I hope we're not the only ones that try to think of dates and we're like, God, that was only like 5 years ago. Oh, wait, that was 20 years ago.
Years ago.
And this movie is 21 years old.
I know.
That's insane.
Cray.
Anyway, so why don't you hit us with some 1999 facts by going down memory road?
This movie was released on April 30th of 1999. It had a budget of $25 million, but it only made $4.2 million.
Eesh.
So it
Not
was
great.
Bomb City. Not great. Popular TV shows from 1999 include The Practice, Touched by an Angel, and Law and Order.
Regular Law and Order?
Regular Law and Order.
Okay.
Was Sfu out by then?
It actually would have premiered in the fall of 99.
Okay. The number one song the week the movie came out, you'll appreciate this. TLC, No Scrubs.
Yes.
And some other doozies from 1999 were Britney Spears, Baby One More Time, and Ricky Martin, Livin' La Vida Loca.
Yeah.
That was like the year of the pop jam.
That was, I think, a big year for me as far as music because I became obsessed with MTV. And I also became obsessed with listening to the radio because, you know, it was 1999. But definitely remember all those.
This is
those
like
hits.
Prime TRL time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just want to point out the other people that had number one songs: Jennifer Lopez, Destiny's Child, Will Smith, Christina Aguilera, and Enrique Iglesias all had number one songs.
Damn.
All the good pop acts from my teens. Some popular movies were Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, The Matrix, and Tarzan.
So, 1999.
That is the prime of my movie going, my prime of pop culture.
I thought you were going to say the prime of my life.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
your
peaked
life
at
peaked.
15. God, you're a jerk.
What was your earliest memory from this movie?
I did not see it in theaters because I'm pretty sure this is rated R, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say I didn't sneak into some R-rated movies because we did.
Yeah.
I remember like the cast appealing to me when I would see the trailers because the star was somebody I watched as a child. I was very familiar with Seth Green at this point, and he was just amazing. And then there was this pretty face who would become very familiar to me that I didn't know until this time, which was Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
And that became a teenage crush for me.
Yeah. I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I will say, because it's funny. What episode we were talking about teen idols?
It was very recently.
Yeah. I know what you did last summer, I think.
Sounds correct.
Yeah. And Devon Sawa, who is the lead of this film, was one of the ones I listed. I loved him.
Yes.
I had this little shrine on my wall of pictures I cut out from like Tiger Beat and J14 and Twist. And it was him, Ben Affleck, of course.
Of course.
Ryan Phillippe.
Why not?
Yeah.
Scary Barry.
I didn't have as many JTT at that time because he was starting to not be as, I guess,
Prominent?
relevant. Yeah.
See, and I remember like 5th and 6th grade, all of the girls I knew were into the people you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then 7th and 8th grade rolled around, and it was all about the LDC.
What's the LDC?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh. For some reason, I thought you were naming a band. Like a boy band, because I remember in 7th grade, going into 7th grade, and NSYNC all of a sudden exploding.
Yes.
And the popular group of girls all had pictures of Justin Timberlake on their lockers. Like they printed them out and put them on their lockers. And I literally had no clue who he was. Because I don't know why.
Oh, that's funny.
I was just like, who is that guy? And then, I mean, I was into music, but I don't know how I avoided NSYNC when they first came out. But then I got into them.
I was going to say, you were into like No Doubt and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was a rock kid.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like in junior high, I think a little bit of maybe half peer pressure, half just wanting to feel a sense of belonging to the other kids in my grade. I started listening to like NSYNC, and then I loved Destiny's Child. So I did get into the popular music, but I don't know. I think in like 7th grade, we might have not had MTV for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we're talking about 99. 7th grade was like a year before. But I just remember like I was late to the party in some of those things.
Okay. I remember being really into TRL. And so like I remember when like Britney Spears' first music video premiered and going like, wow, that girl's really pretty. And that would have been right around the time NSYNC, and then we're
I mean, I remember
up.
it's weird because I remember Britney Spears. I remember seeing that video for the first time and thinking like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why. I mean, it was a music video and it was fine, but it's just one of those things you watch somebody and you're like, they're going to be popular.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
Did you watch those, though, in the back of your head go, some of these people will be completely irrelevant in a year?
Not at that age, because I didn't really understand, like, one-hit wonders. And I just assumed, like, when you were famous enough to have a music video and have a record deal, that you were going to be famous forever. Not really understanding that how many people had hits on the radio and music videos over, you know, the span of the musical history, and nobody remembers them or vaguely remembers them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I will say it's kind of impressive when I was just listing off all those people, and a lot of them still have great careers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's true.
Kind of neat.
So, we just went on a little
tangent. Teen Idol tangent.
Yeah. Back to Idle Hands. My earliest memory from this movie was we had just gotten a new video store. In the town that I grew up in, it was very small. The longest time, the only video store we had was in the grocery store. And it was very small selection. They had like all of the new releases and then a couple of like older movies and hit movies, but wasn't a lot of space. It was very small. And then around this time, I remember the gas station down the street from there, they had like it was the gas station, and then it was like another suite next to it, like connected.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a video store, and it was huge. It was like the first video store I'd seen that wasn't a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
That had like a huge selection, and I remember renting this movie from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know that I rented it. I think this was a movie that my brother had bought when he worked at a movie store, and he had bought it, and then that's when I saw it, because I didn't see it in theaters. I realized I didn't finish my thought earlier, so I was like, I'll bring it back around. You know, at the corner of the street that I grew up at, there was 3 video stores for a while.
Different time, man.
Yeah, one was a mom and pa setup, and then across the street opened a chain one, and then on the other corner another chain, and they put the mom and pa one out of business.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I remember because Blockbuster was in Missoula, but there wasn't like one in our town. So we never rented from there unless like my brother was looking for a specific movie, then I think we went in there a couple times, but we never rented from there. We always rented from the one in our town. And then I worked out one in the town over when I got a little older, and I believe that one's out of business too. Well, I mean, I guess they all are, I guess. But I think that one been out of business way before Blockbuster did.
I can't blame you guys. To drive into Missoula from where you were at that's a little bit of a drive. Just to get a movie,
Yeah, no.
And
Even though my parents worked there and commuted every day, but it wasn't like on their days off, they definitely weren't going, let's go to Missoula again, unless they needed to go to Costco or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun times living in a small town and remembering video stores.
They were the best.
Yeah.
I remember Blockbuster would give you a free rental on your birthday, and I'd always go there on my birthday and rent a movie.
I remember when I first moved here, there were still plenty of video stores.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the thing I did. Because when I first moved here, I didn't have a job yet. I didn't have any friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just went to Hollywood Video, rented movies like every single day.
Oh, man.
Good times.
God, it's so nice nowadays that you can just find basically anything on a streaming service, and if you can't, you can still rent it right off your TV and not have to go to a store. It's
convenient, but I also miss the days of like wondering where I can find a movie and having to go to the store, and then having that like excitedness that you get when you find the movie you're looking for, especially if you're not looking for like a new release.
Yeah.
But I also had the thing coming from a small town that the video stores I had in my town only had so much selection. So if you didn't get there quick enough, you weren't getting the new release and you had to wait the next day or whatever.
I remember, we had the chain ones at the corner, but still going in there. And a lot of times, like whatever the big release was, they might not have it. And then you're like, oh man, people are going to tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good
but
times.
I agree. It was this great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If you got there and you're like, they have Star Wars Episode 1. This is the best day. I'm going home and I'm watching this 3 times.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we continue?
Yes.
So do you think this movie, Idle Hands, in case you guys forgot, because we keep talking about small towns, video stores, whatnot, do you think Idle Hands will hold up?
I'm going to say no. I definitely think the box office is swaying me a little bit, going, this thing was a bomb. But also, I watched it more than once.
Yes.
That doesn't mean I had great taste in movies when I was 15. But I think I'm going to laugh a lot because Seth Green is, to this day, I love, and I just think he is hilarious. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping he'll crack me up. And also the other person, that is the other friend.
Yes.
Yes. So
we won't name him. We'll wait until we're all there.
But I think they're going to be funny and entertaining. Also, I'm looking forward to some good dated references.
I remember parts of this movie. Like, obviously, I know that his hand is murderous, mm-hmm. and then his 2 friends are dead,
mm-hmm.
but still alive. So that's aspect's really funny. But I don't remember, like, any jokes or anything other than, didn't they try to, like, cut off his hand and explode it or something? I don't know. Is that in this movie?
I think they cut the hand off and put it in a microwave.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to hold up because I think there's going to be a lot of dated issues, maybe around Jessica Alba's part.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling.
I could see that.
From what I remember, I feel like she's very overly sexualized.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. But I don't think it's going to hold up.
Sad.
But again, I'm kind of just guessing because I don't really remember very much from this movie.
I was going to say, we're shooting from the hip here. We have not seen this, we don't think, in about 20 years.
Yeah.
So.
I thought you were going to say, we have not seen this. And I'm like,
no, we just talked
20 minutes about that.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Are you broken? Where can you stream this movie?
You can stream it for free on an app called Pluto TV.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used it.
Nope.
And we'll probably just rent it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say free with ads, so I wonder if it is just free. I don't know.
Let us know if you guys try the Pluto app.
Yeah. Maybe it's something we need to try.
Yeah.
Ryan's strictly name brand.
I will say apps. I recognized their logo. So I'm pretty sure it's either on
like our Fire
the
Stick.
Fire, or maybe it's on the PlayStation, but I recognize that logo. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not like Fubo or some of those other ones we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Tubi.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be one.
Yeah.
They're just making them up at this point. Just
Yeah.
mash some letters together. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and hit the
Pause.
go watch Idle Hands and come back and talk about it like we always do.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And we're back. We just finished watching Idle Hands, and we're going to go ahead and break down our movie with our categories.
Like we always do.
And our first category is Well, Hello There,
Well, hello there.
where we talk about any cameos of famous or recognizable actors or actresses that we forgot were in the movie. And there was some.
There was some.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I know we kind of briefly touched on a couple of people that were in this movie that we remembered. As far as the main character, Devon Sawa plays Anton. Seth Green plays Mick, one of his friends. And Jessica Alba plays Molly, his neighborhood crush,
Yes.
if you will.
Yeah.
Who was your first cameo?
My first one was Connie Ray.
Yes.
She played Anton's mom. And I always remember her as being the mom on the Torkelsons.
Yeah.
And apparently, more recently, she's been on The Good Fight.
Yeah. She's been in a couple of things. I also saw Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure I recognized it when she popped up on screen.
She has a very recognizable face. I think.
Yes. And voice, for sure.
Yeah. The next one is Anton's dad, Fred. I always want to say Fred Lillard. I've been saying it in my head all afternoon.
Fred Lillard?
Yeah. He's
He's
related to Matthew.
Yeah.
No, I know who his name is.
Yes.
Fred Willard. He's pretty much like if you looked up character actor in the dictionary, Fred Willard, definitely.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. Some of his most notable parts in movies that I remember are Best in Show, Anchorman, and more recently he was in Space Force. I know he passed away in May though.
Yeah.
Which is
really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always liked Fred Willard.
Now you're saying it.
Yeah,
It's
now
contagious.
Got me all messed up. My next one was Eldon Henson.
Yes.
I know he plays Nub in this.
Or Panub.
I think it's Nub. I think the P's silent.
Oh. Well, I looked up trivia why they're named, and it's like they took Mick and Panub, and it was from the Buckwheat sketch.
Looking for Nub in all the wrong places?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's like, if you say Mick and Panub,
Okay.
it sounds like
okay.
looking for love. Or, you know, how Buckwheat says
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy doing the buckwheat.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. We know him as Fulton Reed in the Mighty Ducks movies.
Yes.
He also was in the Hunger Games,
Yeah.
and he was on Jessica Jones and Luke Cage as Foggy Nelson. He had like a reoccurring character.
I remember him popping up in the Hunger Games. I think it was in the second one or the third one. He plays one of the District 13 people, but he's an Avox, which means they cut out his tongue. So he doesn't have any speaking parts, which I thought was weird.
Okay.
But also one of my favorite movies as a young child, She's All That.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've seen that.
Rachel Lee Cook's his best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Completely different character from this one. That's all I can say. My next one is Vivica A. Fox. Debbie LaCure. She's been in a whole bunch of stuff. She's Vivica Fox. Independence Day, and more recently, Empire.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. My next one was Sean Whalen.
Yes.
He was Roach in People Under the Stairs, which we did a long time ago.
Last year.
And more recently was on Superstore,
Yes.
which is hilarious.
Yes. My next one was Jack Noseworthy. He plays Randy, a neighbor of Anton's. He was in a couple episodes of Law and Order Special Victim Unit, Special Victims Unit. Also, he played Bobby Kennedy in the Killing Kennedy TV movie.
Yes.
But I thought I recognized him from somewhere else, but it must be from SVU. That's all I can think of.
He had a face, the whole movie, it bothered me going, who does he look like?
Yeah.
He does look like a young John Bon Jovi.
A little bit. And I think the hair in this film helped that.
Yeah. But there's somebody else. I can't figure it out. It's going to pop in my head in 3 weeks. I'm like, that's who he looked like. But the thing I did remember him from was playing Bobby Kennedy in Killing Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is your next one?
My next one, there's probably at least one listener that will appreciate this, and that is the legendary Joey Slotnick popping up for a cameo as a Burger Jungle employee.
Yes.
Joey Slotnick was in Pirates of Silicon Valley, and most recently was on Blue Bloods.
Yeah. And he was in A League of Their Own, because we did talk about him.
Yes.
We did talk about your MySpace
Yep.
status.
Mm-hmm.
So go listen to that episode to hear Ryan's Joey Slotnick story.
Yes.
The next one for me is Katie Wright. She played Tanya, who was a high school student and also kind of friends with Molly, Jessica Alba's character. The thing I recognize her from is a gem of a Lifetime movie called A Secret Between Friends. It's also starred Marley Shelton and I believe a young Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And it was a movie I've seen several times because it's literally my favorite Lifetime movie. And it's about bulimia. And it's the best.
It has Wendy Peppercorn in it.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to hear. And Deadpool? Like, I'm sold.
But
man.
that's the number one thing I know her from. She was in an episode of Boy Meets World and a couple episodes of Melrose Place, but she hasn't acted since 2001. But like you pointed out, she's apparently married to Hank Azaria. So
Yeah. And
neat.
And fun fact, her brother is Jack Noseworthy.
Yeah,
who
and
played Randy in this.
And they didn't know, according to IMDb, sorry, took me a second, that they were half siblings until they met on the set of this movie, which is crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Because I would say Jack Noseworthy's probably 25.
Yeah.
It's not like they were 10-year-olds. Like,
And it's also creepy because he does hit on her in the movie.
yeah. Oh, boy.
Who is your next one?
My next one, real brief, he worked a drive-thru attendant at Burger Jungle, and that is Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 and Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good old cameo.
Yeah.
Which I think it's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of the music in this movie is more kind of heavier metal type.
Yeah.
Like they play Rob Zombie. I know you're probably going to mention that later, so I apologize.
It's all good.
But then they have Tom DeLonge, and then I'll say the next one because it's the last one I have. It's a cameo by The Offspring. They're the band at their Halloween dance at the school. So
I was not lucky enough to ever go to a high school dance where The Offspring was playing the
right?
concert, especially in 1999.
Yeah. That's peak Offspring as far as the...
Pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Like mainstream.
Yeah.
Because The Offspring is a band that's very popular with the punk scene.
Yeah.
But
They
obviously...
definitely went very, very mainstream.
Yes.
Yeah. My last one is Timothy Stack. He played the principal in this movie. I remember Timothy Stack on Son of a Beach, which was the Howard Stern FX Baywatch kind of knockoff from the early 2000s. And more recently, he did an episode of LA to Vegas with Dylan McDermott.
Yes.
Yes.
You were trying not to say
Dermot
No.
Maroney. Always confuse those two. I don't know why.
No, everybody does. Everybody does.
It's those two, and then Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman.
Yeah. Because they were also gaining a lot of popularity as lead actors around the same time, Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton. So I used to do the same thing.
Oh, no, I don't feel so silly.
I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on?
Yes.
The next category is called Kids Would Call It a Throwback. We call it the prime of our teens, where we talk about fashion, dated references, and offensive jokes, which there's some.
Yeah, there's some.
What did you think about the fashion?
Overall, not a huge issue with the fashion. I thought, Anton's kind of running around with a hoodie on.
He's literally wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Every single scene.
Yes.
Okay.
But Seth Green, Mick, is wearing a porn star t-shirt, which I do remember my friend's brother had a porn star sticker on his car.
You're a generation of men.
Was
and I say you're because you're a man.
Or it might have been my friend that had it. And it was totally done like to be mean to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a prank.
Oh, man. That's awesome. I definitely feel like the fashion with the male characters, Anton, Mick, and Nub, are such 2000s slacker boy, don't give a damn about the world. They just want to smoke pot.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty, greasy, just gross.
Yeah, especially Anton.
Yeah.
He looks like the whole movie he hasn't bathed in 6 months.
It's hard to say between the beginning of the movie where his parents get killed and you're not sure what happened to them, and because they don't show him killing them, to when he goes to Mick's house, I think, or Nub's house. Mm-hmm. They're both there. Who knows house it is? It doesn't matter. He's wearing the same outfit after that.
Yeah.
And it's gross.
It is.
And just like, take a bath, please.
I kept looking, going, go wash your face.
You have blood all over you.
Blood and just...
Gross.
It's so oily.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man.
Obviously, like, Mick and Nub's character kind of have an excuse in the sense that they're zombies.
Yeah.
Or, like, undead. Mm-hmm. So they don't have a lot of care to change, but...
No.
Jessica Alba's outfits were fine.
Yeah.
Just the very end, the evil hand is going to sacrifice her. Mm-hmm. Of course, they have to get her down to her underwear.
Yeah.
So,
it wouldn't have been a teen sex comedy unless somebody's walking around in their underwear.
Right? That's true. Did you have anything else with the fashion?
I just wanted to mention Randy.
Yes.
Wearing, I think, 47 necklaces. It was every trendy necklace that you could wear. He had it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a band t-shirt. I can't remember what t-shirt he was wearing.
I don't remember.
Oh, but yeah. He drives a big, huge truck. And he's just that douchebag that is still hanging around girls, high school girls, when he's like clearly like 22.
Yeah. No, he's definitely, you can tell, a little old.
Yeah. What about dated references or offensive jokes?
I thought there was quite a few dated references. Some nice pop-ups there. At one point, Anton's watching Mr. Magoo.
Yes.
I enjoyed that cartoon as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it, but...
He was just a bumbling idiot. It was always funny to me. What about you?
I guess the first one, it's not really a dated references, but I just like the line. It's Anton wakes up very early in the movie, calls his friends because he doesn't have any pot, and so he's looking for some pot. He calls him and he's like, hey, can you bring it over? And he's like, this isn't Domino's, you lazy bitch. I think it was Nub, but it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I think it was Nub.
Yeah.
There was a lot of music video watching.
Yes.
I did not recognize really any of them except for the one that I'll talk about later.
Okay.
But yeah, there was just a lot of them.
Yeah, for sure.
I know music videos are still a thing, but I don't think they're as popular as they were when we were growing up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I feel like with YouTube, I feel like people are still watching them.
True.
I think there was maybe a couple years where they weren't getting watched because MTV was on the decline as far as playing music videos, and YouTube was just coming up. But I think now it's back to being like a thing because YouTube.
I 100% agree with you, and I would retract my previous statement about people not watching it because I remember us watching This Is America by Childish Gambino, and it had like 1 billion views.
Yes, and the other day I looked up the K-pop band.
Oh, BTS?
Yes, I looked up some BTS videos because I'm out of the loop with... Yeah. I don't know anything about BTS, but I just wanted to hear what they sounded like, just, just so I don't feel so old, I guess. So I can say, that's a BTS song. And they have like 1 billion views, like over 1 billion views, all their videos. They're insane. Very, very popular.
Yeah, I'm officially that person. I never thought I would get to that where I had no clue what was popular. I know the name, but I don't know any of their songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their videos are pretty interesting. I will
Okay.
say that. There's some artistry to it.
Oh.
Not that you're interested
No.
in K-pop boy bands, but
No,
it's not your cup of tea.
Not my scene.
There was a lot of offensiveness. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say there's a lot, but they just sprinkled in a lot of like homophobic jokes.
Yeah.
They didn't focus on it. It wasn't like a plot.
No.
But especially Nub said a lot of like just random homophobic things.
Yeah. And Mick.
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
You can tell it was made in 1999.
It was made in 1999. I'm not like excusing it at all. Other than that is something I would expect out of a slacker pothead from the 2000s.
Yeah.
Is also being homophobic. Kind of goes hand in hand, I feel like.
Unfortunately, yes, I agree. Another nice dated reference that popped up was at one point Mick and Nub were watching Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, 1978 version.
Yes.
Obviously, because this movie came out before the 2004.
They went to the future and watched the Zack Snyder one. So that's
It
cool.
was this scene in the beginning where they're in the project housing, and the lady like runs to her husband. She thinks like he's fine, and he bites her neck off.
Right in the neck.
At one point, Mick calls himself Leatherface when he's tries to use a
Electric knife.
electric knife to cut Anton's hand off, but the cord was too short.
Yeah.
So
That was the one scene that I 100% remembered from this movie, was because I always thought it was funny the way he looks backwards once he realizes that he yanked the cord out of the wall. He's like, oh,
did you have any other ones?
I did not.
Oh, I just, at one point when Mick, I can't remember what he just is basically like declaring that he needs to do something and they need to find the hand because he's cut off the hand and it ran away.
Yes.
And he kind of figured out that it's going to go after Molly because it's mad that he cut it off. And he's trying to like convince his friends, like, we need to go save her. And Mick's like, no, Kevin Costner speeches. Let's just go. Like, we don't need to hear your reasoning. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
I did want to talk about in this category about, I've talked about it before, but I always feel like there's scenes in movies that are very strong, heavily male based, where I feel like that was written by a middle-aged man who has some like wish fulfillment, and it's when the hand slaps Jessica Alba's character Molly in the ass fairly aggressively.
Her response
is like, oh, I didn't know you liked it like that. And then she's like turned on by it.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way in hell that anybody would be turned on like that. And I was like, who the hell wrote this movie? And I looked it up, and it's written by a female screenwriter.
Whoa.
As well as a male screenwriter, but the female screenwriter is credited first.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm still going to credit that scene to him.
I don't know.
And she might have been going, that's not how it works.
Everything in this world that makes sense when I'm like, why do men think it's okay to like slap women on the ass, and that we think that's, and I'm not saying like a husband and wife.
Yeah,
slap.
no, I agree.
I'm talking about like somebody you barely know.
Yes.
Or maybe you're on a first date, you know, that's
there's lines being crossed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is unfortunately like movies like this that have like shit like that. That's the reason why boys, because this movie is geared towards teenagers.
Yep.
Think it's acceptable to do that.
I was gonna say I was 14 when this came out.
Yeah.
You know, that's showing a 14-year-old. This is how, if you do this, Jessica Alba will turn around and tell you, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to happen. Just saying. Just putting it out there.
Ain't gonna happen.
Especially if you're a greasy stoner boy who doesn't dress well, who has blood all over his shirt.
Yeah.
But I digress. That's pretty much all I had.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay, and we're back. We're going to go ahead and put on our Walkman to walk around our house and listen to some music and talk about some technology. What pieces of technology did you notice?
I mostly wanted to talk about the credits in this category. I thought they were very dark. And then after I had my first seizure from them, because they're very flashy and there's a lot of shit going on, it did look like a music video from this time.
From Nine Inch Nails.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Or is it Chemical Brothers?
Sure. They were more electronica, I would say.
But they had that, like, where they would do shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Because the only things I remembered from this movie before rewatching it were the funnier parts.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how dark this movie was, so I didn't think the credits at first matched with what I remember from the movie. But then watching the movie, I'm like, holy shit, this movie is actually super gory and dark.
Yeah.
So I guess it worked. But they did make me dizzy.
I was thinking the same thing when they started playing was, I don't know that these match up with the movie. And I think this movie's more of a comedy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But the credits would have made you think you were watching Saw.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. One of the pieces of technology that I noticed, which I don't know that we've ever had this piece of technology in any of our movies, was after Anton has cut his hand off and the hand is now at the school, the hand is using an electric pencil sharpener to sharpen its nails.
You know, for easier killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, little interesting piece.
I didn't really notice much else. Obviously, Anton and his friends watch a lot of TV. They just get high and watch TV. That's their thing that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there wasn't tons of things going on. It's kind of pre-cell phones being a normal thing that people have on them at all times.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there wasn't a ton. It was, like I said, I liked his Walkman that he was walking around the house with and just a pencil sharpener. What was your favorite song in the movie?
I did like... I mean, I liked it for several reasons, but at the school dance, the first song that the Offspring sing is a Ramones cover.
Yes.
Of I Want to Be Sedated.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the full song name?
I believe so.
And I did like the fact that they sang that instead of, like we mentioned, at this point they probably had a hit song.
Yeah.
Or was it pre? When did that song come out? I'm going to look.
Pretty Fly for a White Guy, I think, would have been out. Because I remember it being out in 8th grade.
Well, I just wonder if this movie was filmed before.
Oh.
No, it was released in 98.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Americana. It's the name of the album.
So it was like right after their mainstream hit, and they don't sing it.
Yeah, which was interesting.
But it helped, though, I think, not date the movie, because
Agreed.
the Ramones song is a classic.
Yeah.
Whereas that would have dated the movie quite a bit. What was your song?
Mine was one of the music videos they were watching, and it took me back, which was A Little Dragula by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I have always liked Rob Zombie. I've never been the type to go see him in concert, but I've always enjoyed his music and his music videos. Like, I like, in the music video, they're doing the A Night at the Roxbury Head Bob.
Yeah.
I wrote a paper freshman year of high school, and every time I meant to say Dracula, I put Dragula. And luckily, you would do like peer review. And I gave the paper to my friend Sam, and he highlighted the one, and then he was like, "Bro, you put Dragula every time."
Why did you do that?
I have no idea. Like, it was like in my head, I didn't put Dracula. I don't know why.
Did you think that Dracula is really spelled Dragula?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, he was just like, we're covering literature, not Rob Zombie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else in this category?
I just want to mention, I thought it was a good soundtrack. It had some Motley Crue. It had Santeria by Sublime.
Yes, they use that a lot. It was kind of like, I would say, Mix and Nub's theme song, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is a pretty decent soundtrack.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, before the days of iTunes, I would have went and bought this soundtrack for $10 to get all the good songs that were on it, rather than sitting there trying to buy all the different CDs.
I wonder if my brother had this soundtrack. I'm going to text him later, because I feel like he did.
Okay.
It's a lot of music that he likes.
I was going to say, it's just good rock music.
Also, my brother would definitely be one of these characters in the movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to move on?
Yes.
The next category is called Is It Even Good? Where we talk about the plots, plot holes, and we name our funniest and cringiest moments of the movie. What did you think about the plot?
I will say the plot obviously is not realistic.
What?
Yeah, like your hand's not going to get possessed. But I think it was an enjoyable plot. Like, I thought the way there's a person hunting the hand.
Yeah.
And now this whole city thinks there's a serial killer going around killing people. But I enjoyed it.
I did too. And again, it's not meant to be like a believable thing. It's not a movie set in the real world. But I definitely think the premise of it was interesting. Mm-hmm. And I do wish they would have like dove a little deeper into Vivica A. Fox's character and what her motives were. Like they real brief talk about how she's like part of this order that's hunting this hand possession. I don't know if it was a demon or what, but it's some sort of spirit that's going into the hands of losers, she says at one point, making them kill people.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should have explored that more.
Yeah.
Because her part's very brief.
It really is.
Yeah.
Did you have any plot holes you want to talk about?
I just had one.
What? Again, did we watch the same movie? I have several.
You have several? It's what you're good at.
Yeah.
I'm good at finding technology. You're good at finding plot holes. The scene where the cops have gone to Anton's house for a noise disturbance.
Yes.
And Anton kills the two cops.
Yes.
He puts a knitting needle through one guy's head and electrocutes another guy's head. And apparently, no one within the police department gave a shit.
That's true. Was it on the same night as the dance?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we just don't know what's going on.
But I'm thinking in the movie, with Anton in the hospital in a body cast because he apparently got crushed by a car.
Yeah.
He would have been handcuffed to the bed because he killed two cops.
That's true, because I don't even think they had time to clean up the bodies yet. Because after that happened, then he was like, we need to cut my hand off. This is enough. And they cut off the hand, make a nub, go back to one of their houses to get bandages. Mm-hmm. And then Jessica Alba was like, let's go to the dance.
Yeah.
And that is very true.
Police officers check out at locations.
Yes. People are tracking them.
People know that they're there.
Yeah. That's a good one I didn't even catch.
Okay.
Because on the similar wavelength, I was thinking about his parents going missing. Him not noticing isn't a big issue for me because he's a stoner. He doesn't really care. He just sits on the couch all day. Apparently, he barely goes to school.
I was going to say, yeah, he's not attending class.
I assume at least the dad has a job and nobody's going like, where's dad?
Yeah. Or
does he work from home or does he own his own business and he only works alone? There's got to be somebody out there going, your dad didn't come to work.
A family member.
Yeah.
His brother's going to call the house or his sister. Somebody's going to be, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one that I had. Mm-hmm. Another one along the same lines was that Anton killed his parents, but he had no recollection that he did it. And I'm kind of answering my own plot hole, but I guess the only reasoning was because he got high a lot.
Yeah.
And would probably go into a deep sleep.
Guess.
Because then, where the movie starts off, basically, he is really sober. Mm-hmm. Because at one point he tries to smoke oregano, which I know too many high school boys that try to do that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Small town life, right?
All right.
But I thought it was a plot hole that he didn't remember killing his parents, because even if he was in a deep sleep, his mom was screaming when he was murdering her.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that wake you up?
Yeah,
it was confusing.
Sure. Yeah, that is a good one. Did you have any other ones?
This other one's more of a joke. I would say the fact that Molly is attracted to Anton is a plot hole, but at the same time, I remember being a teenage girl. We don't have good judgment.
Yes.
And we are attracted to total douchebags when you're a teenager. Mm-hmm. You have no good common sense when choosing a boyfriend or girlfriend, let's be honest.
I was thinking the whole time, we talked about earlier that I'm going, go wash your face. Your face is oily and gross. And thinking the same thing, going, Jessica Alba would not be interested in you.
But a 17-year-old girl?
Then I go, all right. He's the kid from Little Giants.
Yeah.
No,
I remember watching this movie when I was, the age I was when this came out and thinking oh, Devon Sawa.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'm at no point in this movie, rewatching it tonight, I was like, oh, he's so hot. No. I was going, what?
Go bathe.
Why? What is happening? Don't kiss him. He has blood on his shirt.
You're gonna get something. Gotta catch something.
Anyway. What was your funniest line or moment?
You actually briefly touched on when Nub and Mick, after Anton has cut his hand off and he puts it in the microwave, Nub and Mick leave and come back with burritos and bandages. And I love when Mick's like, we have antiseptic and bandages. It's the ouch-free kind.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. What about you?
I love the part when he finds his, it's not before he finds his parents' body.
Okay.
He finds an eye.
Yes.
In his house.
Mm-hmm.
He gets freaked out. Obviously, he just found out there is a serial killer killing people around the area.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, there's a serial killer in my house. And he goes and hugs his dog, Duke, who is a very good boy.
Very good boy.
And then proceeds to, like, push Duke down the hallway, like, first.
Yeah.
Like, go check out first. And it was just really funny.
And he did a good job about when he was hiding and everything. He, like, Duke, get up here. And he, like, hid underneath the blanket with Duke.
There wasn't enough Duke after, I feel like after Mick and Nub came back.
Yeah.
As undead people.
Yeah.
It was lacking in the good boy department.
I was going to say, there should have been some more. I did want to mention one other one that I thought was just hilarious. And it's when Mick and Nub are at the dance. Mm-hmm. And Nub starts making out with Tanya.
Yes.
And Mick's like, stop making out with her. It's illegal. You're dead. He's like, it's gross.
Yes.
That was funny.
Yeah. The other one that I loved was another Mick line, was when he does discover his parents' body. Mick and Nub are still alive. They're at his house with him. Mm-hmm. And Mick finds a scrap of T-shirt in Anton's mom's dead hand. Uh-huh. And he's looking at it, and then Nub and him both notice that there's a piece of Anton's shirt missing, which also shows you that he's been wearing that shirt since he killed his parents. And at one point he said his parents were missing for a couple
days.
So he's been wearing that shirt for like 4 days.
Oh, God. He had to just smelled
so
ripe.
Gross. Yeah. The funny line was Mick puts the scrap up to Devon Sawa's character, and he's like, I think the killer was wearing your shirt. Just so he said that, like, instead of like, you're the killer.
Yeah. No, it was just, it was well done.
Yeah. What was your cringiest liner moment?
I will just lump everything involving Anton and Molly together. We talked about earlier. Apparently Anton can just slap her on the ass and she'll be like, I'm impressed that you would do that. But then they're going to go to a dance together.
Yes.
And Molly, it's a Halloween dance. Molly's dressed as a little angel and Anton's wearing what he wears.
Yes.
And she's just like, you wouldn't stand me up, would you? In this creepy, cringy baby voice.
Yeah.
And then he's like, not a chance, baby snakes.
Baby snakes.
I was just like, oh, you guys are terrible.
Baby snakes. Keep in mind, these kids have only been dating for like a day.
I was going to say, like a day or two. And they've lived across the street from each other for years, according to Mick and Nub.
That's very true.
Yeah. What was your cringiest moment?
That definitely was one of them. But mine, I chose something that was more on the gory side because there were a lot of moments that were super gory. But when Anton does cut off his hand, he throws it in the microwave, and just the scene where it's actually like bubbling and it looks like it explodes was super gory and gross and kind of unnecessary and makes me not want to use microwaves ever again.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a good amount of gore when Molly and Tanya are going to drop through the ceiling because they've been clawing through the vents. Tanya's dressed as like a devil with a whip, I think.
Yeah, they almost have like matching costumes because...
Oh, yeah, because she's an angel.
Yeah.
Good point. And Tanya gets hung from the ceiling, and then the fan kicks back on and pulls her through. I was like, that's really gross.
That scene, I do remember. I realized watching it today, I do remember that scene because every movie that has people going through a fan vent like that or TV show, because one specifically I remember is Community, our favorite TV show.
Yes.
When the dean gets kidnapped and they're in the boiler room and the air conditioning stops because their conditioning school like helps them get free because Troy asked them to.
Yeah.
And when they're going through that vent, I'm like, hurry, it's gonna kick on.
You're gonna get
And I'm
chopped
like,
with a fan.
that would never happen in this show.
No.
But yeah, now I have a deep mistrust of air conditioning fans.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, with good reason. You shouldn't go through them.
I was gonna say, we've seen enough things.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
I did. Our friend Molly, she writes song lyrics, and I think she might be a musician, but she had a lyric book that she dropped when she was driving her little moped, and Anton picks it up and kind of fans through it, and I have some questions about Molly possibly being a serial killer.
Yes. When he said this is her lyric book, I was expecting more lyrics and less cut-up words.
And letters from magazines.
Yeah, that look like she's practicing ransom letters.
Yes.
That's a very good question. Yeah. And she definitely was supposed to come off as this like cool alternative girl.
Yeah.
She rides a motorcycle.
She writes music.
I think he mentioned she plays a bass guitar.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, her lyric book was...
I was like, oh, she's practicing.
Yeah.
She's writing ransom notes.
I was just thinking, as a person that when I was younger, deeply embarrassing that I did have a lyric book and I'd write horrible music lyrics when I was young. I feel like that takes too much time to find a bunch of magazines, cut up the words.
Yeah.
I feel like we did that in class in junior high. Like, it was like a way to make a poem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely remember doing something similar.
Yeah. She took that and ran with it, apparently.
Yes, she did.
I don't know if I really have anything else to talk about.
I did just want to mention the special effects I thought were all pretty decent.
They were, for the most part, yeah.
The stuff with the hand in the microwave, Nub gets his head cut off.
Yeah.
I thought that looked pretty good. Even at one point, they rip Dexter from the Offspring's head, like a scalp. Yeah. And I was like, it all looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that part.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot there.
Nice.
You want to go ahead and take another break?
Yeah, and we'll be right back.
Okay. As always, on Ruining Our Childhood, it is award season. We give away 2 awards every week, the first of which is a valedictorian to the Nicolas Cage Online School of Bad Acting. Whom did you give your award to?
I went back and forth with a couple of characters / actors, but I ended up giving it to Randy, Jack Noseworthy, because I feel like there wasn't much to his character in the sense of his purpose of the plot. I know at one point Anton goes to him for advice about possession because Mick and Nub suggest that he knows a lot about stuff.
About satanic rituals and stuff like that, yeah.
And he doesn't really give him that much advice other than idle hands. Like, he kind of says the premise of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was a super creep. I mean, again, we mentioned he was a 22-year-old hitting on high school girls. He was definitely that guy that is hanging around high school kids way longer than he should.
Yes.
Like, move on, man.
Yeah.
Hang out with people your own age. And then in the end, they kind of just throw him with Debbie. And I just felt like there was no purpose to his character. And at one point he says, "Ease up there, kitten." And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the abrupt throw them together with Debbie at the end. She's like, all right, let's go have gratuitous sex. And he's like, okay.
Ritual sex.
Ritual sex, sorry.
Yeah.
But
ritualistic? I can't talk. You know what I mean.
Yes. Let's go have sex. And you're like, that kind of seemed out of left field, but okay, you guys are doing that. Cool.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's like one thing that happened a lot in movies for the longest time, especially romantic comedies. It's just like throw characters together at the end.
Yeah.
Everybody should be hooking up at the end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who was yours?
I was a little surprised by this because 15-year-old Ryan would just come up and punch me in the face. But I gave mine to Jessica Alba as Molly. She wasn't terrible, but I did not like really anything that involved her in this movie.
Yeah.
At one point after the dance is kind of cleared out, because there's this crazy hand going around. She walks into an art classroom in the school, and the hand drops a ceramic or something on her head, and it was just the way she went, ow.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh.
I thought it was more like a comedic thing.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and like her baby voice that she would break into.
Yeah.
It's like our generation's trying to sound sexy, so we do like a baby voice.
Well, and my thing is they've kind of established her to be this, like you said, rocker alternative girl.
Yeah.
And then she's talking in a baby voice. Like,
Yeah.
I think she would have been too cool to go to the dance with him type of a person.
It's like they wanted her to be the manic pixie girl
Yeah.
of his dreams, but they're also like, but she has to be like sexier.
Yeah. We needed her to be in her underwear during this movie.
No, I agree. I did like that she wasn't a complete damsel in distress, because at one point she does go through that fan. She thinks of that idea, saves herself, does not save her friend. Not really her fault, though.
No, it's not her fault.
But
yeah, I will say when she's getting lifted towards the ceiling, when she's strapped to the top of the car, I was like had a minor anxiety. And it was just at the very end when her nose is pressed to the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's too close for me.
yeah, I would not like that.
No, I would be massive claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Being that close to the ceiling like that. I'm like, no, thank you.
Do you want to move on?
Yes.
The Thomas J. Hanks Award for Exceptional Acting. Who did you give your award to?
I was a little surprised because I just assume I'm watching a Seth Green comedy. It's going to be Seth Green.
Yeah.
But I did give it to Devon Sawa as Anton. And it was mainly everything he did with the hand.
Yeah.
And selling that he's making out with Molly. And the hand is like aggressively
Trying to
choke her and squeeze it. And he's biting the hand. And I just thought he did really well with... You believed his hand was possessed.
Yeah, no, I agree. He did some really great hand work there.
Yeah, he did some good handwork.
I didn't give it to him, but I was very, very close to.
Okay.
Because I liked his character. I mean, I didn't like his character as much as I did when I was younger, but I thought you still found yourself rooting for him.
Yes.
Even though...
He murdered his parents?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't him, though. And that he's a slacker and stuff, but he's not like a absolute jerk. Mm-hmm. I ended up giving mine to Seth Green, Mick, because all of his lines were hilarious.
Yes.
And when they get back with the bandages, you mentioned that line. It was really funny. Mm-hmm. But then Nub says something about the house being really dirty. And he's like, why don't we clean the whole house? And he's like, it's not our problem.
Yeah. Well, also, I think Nub was more going, maybe we should clean the microwave that's covered in blood.
Yes.
And he's like, we could just clean the whole house. And you're like, well, and maybe just wipe out the microwave.
And then when his disappointment at when the hand just evaporated, very kind of disappointed with the outcome of that.
Yeah. He was just like, nothing, no explosion. Just, wow. Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed his character. I thought him and Nub's characters really made the movie way less dark than it could have been.
Yeah.
And they were both great characters for me.
Agreed.
Do you want to move on to our final thoughts?
Yes.
And decide if this film holds up?
I will say, I thought, like, if you break it down to kind of 3 acts, I really like the first 2 acts of the movie. It was the third act. Everything at the dance and within the school I thought was a little cheesy and over the top. Down to at one point the hand is taken to, it's now a puppet and it's attacking them in the school. I thought that was a little cheesy. But I love the way Mick brings it back, and when they destroy the hand, he was like, what? That's it? No explosion? No nothing? So I really enjoyed it. I thought the death scenes in this were so much better than the death scenes in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, yeah.
They really brought it with the special effects in this movie.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised. I enjoyed it. There was some cringiness, but I thought it was funny. It was not a bad movie.
So you think it holds up?
I do think it held up. Yeah.
Because you kind of were dancing around.
Sorry, I don't mean to dance. Got a bob and weave, but I'm going to hit you with I thought it held up.
I also agree that I think overall it held up. Mm-hmm. I actually enjoyed watching it. It was funny. it definitely, if you like gory movies and horror mixed with a little comedy, this is definitely something that I think people enjoy.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, the comedy part is what saves it for me, because I think if it was trying to take itself too seriously, it would be super cheesy and outdated, especially now, but it probably wouldn't have been that great the first time around. I do agree with the puppet thing. Like, it was cheesy, but I think because this is a dark comedy, it worked for me.
Okay.
Despite, if you took away, like, you know, the homophobic jokes that they make a lot, it's just like kind of the not super toxic masculinity, but definitely some toxic masculinity with the male characters.
Yeah.
And maybe write the female characters just a smidge better.
Agreed.
Better than some movies, but not as good as others.
I was going to say, like you said, Molly was not a total damsel in distress, but she could have been written better. And definitely Vivica A. Fox's character, Debbie, could have been utilized a little better and given some more backstory.
Yeah.
But it definitely hits you with the comedy. And earlier I said I was kind of letting the box office numbers sway me. And it should be noted, this has like a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a decent score, and a 4.5 out of 5 stars on Prime.
I feel like the premise of it and how they did it almost seems a little ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that I could see being somewhat of a cult classic within our generation.
For sure.
I don't think it has that status, but you know, it was an enjoyable movie.
For sure.
For a horror movie.
Yeah. It was a good watch.
It's a good watch.
Good watch.
That was it.
Oh, we did want to we were going to talk about what were our favorite TV shows when they would do their Halloween episodes, which we're going to throw it up there. So on our Instagram and on Twitter?
Nah, just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Let us know what yours were. What were your favorite Halloween episodes of TV shows?
I definitely, one that sticks out for me, and it's kind of funny that we didn't talk about it on our bonus-ode, was Boy Meets World. It's in one of the later seasons where they do kind of like a Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, satire. It even had guest star Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes.
Which, again, I don't know why we didn't talk about it in I Know What You Did Last Summer episode or the Boy Meets World minisode. But it was always one of my favorite ones, just because Jennifer Love Hewitt would scream a bunch, and then Angela would scream.
Yeah.
And like get into like screaming fights.
Yes.
And then, yeah, it was a fun episode.
For sure. For me, I have two. I loved the Community ones.
Oh, the zombie one is definitely up there, yeah.
The zombie one was really good. And then even the first one, where Annie has like her little Spanish Halloween party.
Yeah.
And
Pierce takes some drugs.
Yes. As a
Beastmaster,
which nobody knows what Beastmaster is. Because Pierce is 70. And then the other one, and I think we're on Treehouse of Horror 32 this season. Simpsons always hit it out of the park. Those episodes, I know people are always like, oh, Simpsons used to be funny and it's not so funny anymore. Those ones are still always really good.
Yeah. I love those. Agreed. I totally forgot. I didn't forget about the Community episodes, but I forgot that that's literally the zombie one from the second season.
Jeff goes dressed as David Beckham.
Yeah.
So he could just wear a suit.
Yeah.
And carry a soccer ball.
Yeah.
When Troy, is he a Transformer earlier in it? I think he's Bumblebee?
Like, I thought it was something with Predator.
Oh.
It was like Predator versus...
Abed's Predator and he's something else.
Yeah.
And then he realizes
girls
don't want you dressed up like that, so he comes back as Dracula with a toilet paper liner around his neck and no shirt on, and then just like some toilet paper wrapped around his wrist as cufflinks. He's sexy Dracula. So well done.
Yeah, I love that episode. We should probably go watch it.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Yes. And yeah, we'll put that up on Instagram.
And also, we will bring back the polls.
Yeah.
Because we're done with Halloween movies.
We are.
Which they were a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, I love doing Halloween movies.
We're going to have to do this every year, bring in the Halloween movies.
For show.
So thank you for listening, guys. Thank you for making us part of your week. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.